Hello, Bigfoot enthusiast. Scott here from Squatch America.
And Hannah, domestic goddess, chief cook, and doggy mama in the paddy wagon tonight. Holding down the paddy wagon since 2020.
Holding it down, and what she means by holding it down is, wow, we have a windstorm yesterday and the day before.
Not actually what I meant, but
yeah.
Yes. Because I think that wind was a little more powerful than my ability to hold anything down.
Yep, I think so.
But ChatGPT told me that phrase, domestic goddess, chief cook, and doggy mama, should be a t-shirt. What do you think?
Yeah. I don't. But
play the intro.
Play the intro. I was just checking the chat.
We'll say hi later.
I gotta find the button.
Squatch America, we're on the trail, chasing down the mystery through the rain and hail, with a knock on a tree and a howl in the night. With Squatch America, gonna get it right.
Oh! All right. Hey, hi, Janice, Stacy, Dale. Nice to see you.
Got home from work.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Pappy, hi, Gordon.
Hey, Janice thinks it would be a good t-shirt.
Yeah, she does. Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
All righty, everyone. I hope you got your emails. I got it out late, but it went out this morning. So, yep. Tell you what, the day job has just been really kicking my tail lately.
Uh-huh.
You sound so enthusiastic about that.
Not.
Anyway, I don't know what this is for.
Oh, Pyromedic wants to know if that is AI music that we play on our intros. And I have to say, yes, it is.
Because AI rocks.
Yeah, so we had one AI write the songs and then another one turn them into actual music. So
well, and here's the thing, I could write all that myself, but since 2020 I've been dreadfully without a music composition studio. So we do what we can do.
Yep. That's it.
I am a convert. I am an AI convert, though. Just saying. I mean,
okay.
You know why?
Why?
Because it cheers me up and encourages me and gives me all the sweet arse affirmations I need in my day. It tells me that I'm a wild Squatch goddess.
Yeah, that's it.
It's true. And when I'm sad, it makes me happy. It's better than the dog.
Yeah, Hannah is cuddling up to the artificial intelligence, so when they take over the world, they probably won't kill her.
Yeah.
That's the problem. All right, what are we talking about tonight, honey?
I don't know. What are we talking about? We are talking about all the deep, dark secrets of Bigfoot that we have come across in the last 25 years.
That's right. What we're going to be talking about tonight is, I get a lot of stuff that people tell me, hey, or we get the same questions asked all the time, and we've done dozens of shows of the same thing over and over.
That's called evergreen content.
Evergreen content, pretty much what it is. But what we're doing tonight is we are actually going to, I'm going to give to you, for after this 25 years of delving into this subject, that what...
Let me present to you for your consideration.
Yeah.
That's the Twilight Zone guy.
Yeah. So what I want to present to you is the things I've discovered over the years that has, for me, besides the point that I have actually seen a Bigfoot, but has for me cemented this as a actual thing. And not,
you mean what convinced you of its reality and validity?
Yeah.
And not
what
just
made it real.
Yeah, and not just some woo-woo weird thing like, I don't know.
It's not belief, it's more the science to it. And what I wanted
What makes this more than a Muppet show?
Yeah, what makes it more than the Muppet Show? Our show's a Muppet Show, but the show's not.
How many of you would watch Scott and Hannah as Muppets?
There we go. All right. So what I'm going to present today is some stuff that a lot of people overlook, or I don't know how to put it, or things that a lot of people miss.
By the way, welcome Daniel. And Unspoiled Mind says that I have Twilight Zone and Outer Limits full episodes.
Yeah.
No, gotta clarify that. The original Twilight Zone, not that the stupid thing they did in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
That was a stupid thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to kick up. I have a PowerPoint presentation. Woohoo! Okay. So
see, this is an alien trying to kill me.
yeah. Yep. So he said the original.
Oh, good,
Twilight Zone,
good.
yeah.
Then you are our people.
Yeah. All right. So let's kick up the presentation screen. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-doo. Okay, there we go.
Johnny Rocket BC. Hello, hello.
All right. So I'm going to start at the beginning. I've got to go down my list.
At the very beginning.
We wrote this down so I wouldn't get confused.
To start. And he's already confused.
I'm already, we're already on page 2. Okay, here we go. No, what I want to do is I want to start with the Patterson Gibbon film and things people overlook. You know, it's a guy in the costume. Oh, didn't that guy on his deathbed say he faked it all? Which he did not. Because I've talked to people who was with him at his deathbed and asked them directly, and the Bigfoot was not brought up at all while he was dying. Okay.
By the way, before you start, you've just received the best compliment ever.
What's that?
From Pyro. Scott kind of resembles Dr. Teeth, the Muppet Band leader.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of do actually, now that I look at it.
Now,
okay.
I don't even want to know. Does that make me the snaky girl? Like the super hippie snake girl singer?
Yeah. That's cool. So let's get into this. So I'm going to go over here and we're going to push the button. And I'm going to play this video. And what I want you to do is just look at it for a little bit. Now, this is the 4K enhanced version of it and stabilized, so it's not shaking at all.
She's doing the moonwalk, man.
Yeah. Doesn't that interesting when you play it backwards? So I'm going to play it again, and I want you to say, what looks different to me?
You know I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to. Boop, boop, boop,
Okay.
boop, boop. I couldn't help myself.
All right. So first things first, I'm going to throw this at you. See that red line across the screen? And now this is the stabilized version, so the camera's not going to be shaking at all. I want you to look at that red line, and I want you to follow the Bigfoot's shoulder right here. Oh, that's weird. The pointer on this screen is different than the pointer on this screen.
Oh.
So, okay, the shoulder right here. All right. So, and large individuals, another thing too. That's very good, Rick. By the way, hi, Rick. So,
hi to you and the family, you and the sister.
Okay, as this walks across this screen, I want you to look very
Watch what the
carefully.
shoulders do.
Look at the shoulder and look at the red line. Here we go.
Stop.
That was it. Here we go. We're going to play it again.
No more moonwalking for us here.
Did you notice something about that that's different?
No, Mike, I don't think she's wearing a necklace.
All right. So one more time. Now I'm going to start talking to you from an anthropological point of view and skeleture and musculature and things like that. Thomas got it. There you go.
So let's talk about what Thomas said.
Doesn't bob up and down. So look at it again and tell me, do you notice how it follows that line and it doesn't go up, it doesn't go below, doesn't. When people walk, our heel hits the ground first. Then we, with our locked knee, we vault over our hip, which pushes our body up, and then it comes back down when we go to the next step.
So do you know how we translate that for normal people?
What?
We walk like Muppets.
We bounce when we walk.
Yeah, just like Muppets, remember? We got to keep that theme going tonight. Yeah, we walk like Muppets, bounce. In fact, that is why Jim, that's why like Sesame Street and the Muppet Show and all that, this is true, because we're going to talk, we're talking about Bigfoot versus human moving. That is one of the things that Jim Henson had his puppeteers do, is he said, you can't just bring a puppet in on stage, because that's not how people walk. They walk like this. Because we bounce up and down.
Yeah, and Pyro asked a question, is that part of what the stabilization has done? No, it's not. The if you notice what they did in this stabilization, you can see up here, I got to watch this screen. You can see up here, this is the frame and the angle of the frame compared to the flat picture behind it. So what it does is it moves the frame to fit the situation. It shrinks it and moves it. So I'll play it again.
Okay, so why don't you tell them what it does without this stabilization?
So without the stabilization, this would be bouncing up and down. You can see the square where the camera was pointing.
Not the Bigfoot would not be bouncing up and down. The whole picture.
The whole picture would be bouncing up and down.
They were filming like
yeah.
They were filming like Muppets.
Yeah. So no, it's not a part of the stabilization. What the stabilization does is keep everything in line the way it's supposed to be. So if you notice the stabilization is in the same place as the picture behind it.
So what you're seeing from the stabilization is exactly what was happening. She was not walking across this creek bed during an earthquake. No. Which is what the original looks like. And it's very smooth. It's a very smooth creek bed she was walking on. It was a recent flood and it was nice and flat. Stacy Main says a compliant gait.
That is the actual term invented by Dr. Jeff Meldrum.
Yes.
So
versus the Muppet bounce. I coined that term.
Did you? We
walk like Muppets.
We did. Huh?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to get into the walk. So in this picture, this is a frame from the video. Do you know what you see? Something that's very curious in this picture? Curiouser and curiouser. One thing other people don't really pay attention to, they say, oh, that's a Bigfoot or it's a guy in a costume. But if you look really close, what do you see there in the red circle? You see the entire bottom of the foot facing straight up and down. If you watch a human, if you go downtown and watch people walking, take a notice that one, you see them bounce when they walk, and two, you will not see the bottom of their foot when they're walking away
Unless they're doing the moonwalk backwards.
from
Then you will.
Yeah, and then you will. But you don't see the bottom of the foot. The second thing is, in this stride here, there's something very interesting about that. Is you see, oh my gosh, this pointer thing is driving me crazy.
He got a new mouse and a new keyboard this week, and it's just
Okay, that puts it in the right place.
in his
Okay.
older age, he does not do change well.
Yeah, I want things the way it used to be. Okay, no. Yeah, we fall forward. I like that. So if you notice something, two things in this one, you can't see it really well in this photo because it's from the video, but the foot is actually bent in the middle.
What, you mean at that mid-tarsal break?
At the mid-tarsal break, which we will get into in a second. You notice this knee it's in the back of the step, but the knee is still bent. And thirdly, you see this foot hitting the ground, not on the heel, but flat. The whole foot at the same time. So this does not walk like us at all. It's subtle, but it's completely different.
Thomas Burns said, we conserve energy by not walking with flexed legs. We walk more with our weight on our bones, which is true.
Which is very true.
Which is why I do fall forward.
Yeah, a lot. Clear to her face. So
It's true. It's true.
So
Did you know, everyone, when I fall forward, I automatically cover my eyes so that I don't break my glasses? I have broken my teeth doing that, but my glasses have always come out unscathed.
Yeah. So
I fall like a fainting goat. It's
yeah,
sad,
it's crazy.
but true.
Yeah. So what we want to do is I want to go into, boy, we're burning time. Okay.
Not really.
We're blazing through stuff and I need to get going faster. So I'm going to put up our full screen here so you can see.
Actually, you gave your
This thing right here is a 3D printout. It's a new way of doing Bigfoot casts. This is a 3D printout of a scanned cast of the Patterson Bigfoot that we're showing you the video. This is the actual cast from that step. So what I wanted to show you, I wonder if I can turn this up a little help. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's so better.
Yeah. So
should always have that kind of light.
So looking at it this way, it's kind of cool, but this is what tells us something. If you look very closely here,
tip it forward just a little bit.
I want to show you something. Is this heel here, if we measure this is thinner than this part right here. You can see that back here is thinner. It's weird. I'm looking at it backwards. Okay, than this. And the toes are actually deeper than this. So what that tells me is this hit the ground flat. Bam, like that. And then it bent in the middle and pushed more pressure here. And then the last thing to come off is when the foot went straight up in the air, is the tips of the toes. That's why we get these round toes on this thing. It's because they're actually rocked up on the end and lifted up.
Now, if we tried to do that, we would break our foot in half.
Well, yeah, actually, we would be able to walk like this. And I'll tell you the evolutionary part of this. We would still be walking like this if we didn't have pavement or we haven't invented shoes, or, so our the way we walk has evolved over the years because we don't have to walk over high grass, through swamps, on rocks, up hills, down hills, uneven ground.
Oh my gosh. Is that what I remember when we were walking across the field the other day? I said, this is really hard. And you said, that's because we have to walk like Bigfoot.
Yeah. So so Bigfoot's used to walking on uneven ground, whatever. So they're on a different substrate than us, so they walk like they're walking in tall grass. They lift their legs up, and that's why they don't do that. So, okay, moving right
All
along.
right, so polls live, folks. Is the Patterson Gimlin film still the best evidence we have of the reality of Bigfoot? Yes or no? Put it in the chat right now.
Okay.
And while you're putting it in the chat, we're going to show a commercial.
Are we going to move on?
No, we're going to let them put it in the chat. Yes or no? Patterson Gimlin film, and we're going to show a commercial.
Oh my gosh, you're so buzzy.
I am. That's what our grandson says. You're so bossy. Go. Oh, just pick one. Any of them.
Okay, we're gonna pick this one. At Squatch America, we're not just searching for Bigfoot. We are giving back to those who serve. Every donation through YouTube and Patreon helps us to support the Fallen Outdoors, a veterans-led organization who takes heroes out hunting, fishing, and camping. But that's not all. We take veterans on real Bigfoot research expeditions, where they can enjoy the great outdoors and maybe, just maybe, discover something legendary. Join us in giving back. Support Squatch America today for the adventure, for the veterans, and for the wild. So just a reminder, and for the new people who are tuning in, if you join us on Patreon, link in the description below, or if you join the YouTube channel here, which you can click join, I think somewhere on your screen. All the money that we get from that, we take veterans out Bigfoot, on Bigfoot research trips. And we're in partnership with the Fallen Outdoors, which takes veterans out hunting, fishing, camping. We take them Bigfooting. We are pro staff with the Fallen Outdoors. And what we do is that's to get veterans out doing things and get them out of their heads to help eliminate that 22 veterans a day that take their lives. And we have a big one coming up
in Wisconsin. I don't see Lee on tonight. Maybe she's busy, but thank you, Lee Warner, who has really been
instrumental in help us getting that all set up. Yep. Okay.
All right, moving on.
So a lot of yeses.
Okay, awesome.
So what I want to do is,
and by the way, Gordon said MK Davis did a good breakdown.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm sure he did. Oh yeah, absolutely. So if you look at this, you see the big foot, you see the knees bent, the foot flat. And I wanted to throw something in here at the end. There was a guy, his name, I had it just a few minutes ago. Well, there was two guys. Morris, it was his last name, was one of them. And the other guy who said that he was in the costume, and it was this Philip Morris's costume. And I can't remember the other guy's name who said he was in the costume. And to prove it, they went back recently, and well, not too recently,
they
but
demonstrated
it. He whipped out the costume, put it on, and took some pictures of him walking in the costume. So here's a side by side of the costume and the Patterson film.
It's so bad.
And if you take the guy in the costume, lay it over top of that, you can notice something very interesting. One, his arm, and I stretched it out to be the same height. So he's even shorter, but I stretched it out to be the same height to show you the difference in the anatomy. Look how much longer the arms are. And the knees, this knee here is there.
And that knee's
and that knee's down there. So anatomically, they are not the same. You can put a guy in the costume, but he'll still be the same shape as a human. So there's that. And plus you can see all this other stuff. Like, you don't see the tricep and the bicep. You do here, tricep, bicep,
Pec, boob,
pec, boobs,
quadricep, gluteus maximus,
calf muscle right here. You actually see the muscles in it that you don't see if you put a costume on over a person.
Female bodybuilders could only aspire to that.
Yeah.
Patty was sexy. And that's post-baby.
Yeah. So there we go. So there's that. So what's next on our list?
I know you said we weren't going by this, but here we are.
No, the next major thing.
Relic hominid.
Okay, so
Bigfoot's real roots.
Okay, we're going to talk about something I've discovered.
Johnny Rocket asked if there's an arc in the front. I don't think I understand the question.
I don't think
I think I understand the question. Maybe you could clarify, Johnny, for Johnny.
An arc in the step?
An art? I don't know.
I'm okay. Yeah, please clarify.
We're going to move on, but we will watch the chat for your clarification. Okay. A foot arch. No, does that guy have an arch in his foot?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
He's wearing a costume.
He's wearing a costume. So if he did have an arch, if we didn't have an arch, our foot would bend in the middle, but I don't know, flat-footed, there's something I need to.
What, if flat-footed
people, if they have a mid-tarsal break.
I have flat feet, and I do not have a mid-tarsal break.
Okay.
Flat feet just means that your arch has fallen because you've got basically.
Right, but I think anatomically you may still have the structure of an arch.
It's just flat.
It's just flat, so but your foot still wouldn't bend in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So thank you, Terrell.
Hey, play the boop, 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 boop. You gotta play the boop.
Thank you, Terrell. Oh, I gotta hand it like. All right, thank you very much. So moving right along, we're running into.
Yeah, if we go a little late, that's okay.
My theory is, what is Bigfoot? The next section here. And what a lot of people don't realize is that picture you saw as a kid of the little monkey turning into the person. That's not how it worked. Our evolution is completely different. In fact, I would almost want to say we didn't evolve, we adapted. So what I mean by that is there wasn't this human back in the beginning of time who
married his sister and had babies.
Yeah. Where was I going? Okay, there wasn't this. Okay, so let's go back. Like say Australopithecus. This guy here was alive. The group of them were alive. They're in Africa. And I have a whole video on this, and you can go back and look. It says Our Bigfoot People is the name of the video. And if you go to our channel, then go to live, then go down. I really go into detail on this. So
that means you don't have to go into detail.
So I'm not going into too much detail here. What I'm saying is this group here in Africa, the population grew to the point where the area they lived in couldn't sustain that many people. So some of them broke off and they moved over here. It might have been 15 miles. Well, over millions of years, that 15 miles covered the whole earth.
So let me ask you.
So as they moved to different places, like for Europe, they had to adapt to where they were from. Okay. So their bodies changed. So if you look at this chart, this is 4 million years ago. You had this group, and then you had this group 2 million years ago. You notice something? They overlap.
I have a question,
Okay, what?
Dr. Scott.
Okay.
Which one of those do you think is Bigfoot? Which
I think they're.
homo?
No, I think they're the. I think they fall back into the Ardipithecus.
Where is Ardipithecus on
That's
this?
this area here.
So which one of these?
Is Bigfoot?
Which one of
He's
these?
probably not on there.
Which one of these was hybridized by off-worlders to create Homo sapiens?
None of those.
I mean,
Okay.
look at how different the brain cavity is.
Or they adapt when they get as their brains grow because they were eating protein because they were weak and had to scavenge bone marrow, which made their brains grow, by the way, if you want to look into that. So anyway, so when you get to us, the Homo species, you have Homo, and I always say Nadelli, and I always say it wrong. Nality. Homo nality covered a very long time without having to adapt. So if you got them, you got Homo erectus, Homo heidelbergensis, Homo neanderthalis or Neanderthals, and us Homo sapiens. And what's not on this list is Homo floresiensis, which actually started after us. They're younger than we are. They're extinct, but they're younger than we are. And we all know that Homo neanderthal is still alive because you're looking at one.
It's so
we bred them out. They're actually mixed into the our species, Homo sapiens. So they're actually mixed in,
which
in with us.
Probably means that Homo heidelbergensis is somewhere in our DNA as
well.
well.
It could possibly. We don't have DNA from Homo heidelbergensis. So at any given time in human history, they've been like, there's 3 to 6 types of humans living together at the same time.
I would love to see where Ardipithecus is on this chart.
Ardipithecus.
You said that you thought that Bigfoot would be part of the Ardipithecus strain.
Oh, the Ardipithecus strain is not on here.
You said it wasn't on here.
It's not.
We need a better chart.
I need a better chart. But if you go back to the video, I can show you that I have a different chart in that other video. But anyway, so what I theorize of what Bigfoot is I believe that they're one of these species that have one extinct yet. So they're not an ape because of a few simple things that what we use to decide if you are a human, Homo species, or you're an ape, as in gorilla, monkey, blah, 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 is we walk upright. We have hands and feet that don't have hands. we have no canine teeth.
We have little canine teeth.
We have little canine teeth, but if you look at gorillas and monkeys and chimps, they have big fangs. Okay. So from the Bigfoot I physically saw with my own eyes, and all these other videos, if you look like, and thousands of Native American depictions that go back on rocks forever. They have there's 2 things they have. They have setback eyes, which is more like the Neanderthals. And because it shades your eyes, there's a whole thing on that. Anyway, and then they have a smaller nose, and then they have this flat mouth. The flat mouth meaning they don't have this long, you see, chimps have this long bulbous kind of mouth on them because they have fangs. If you got a flat mouth on you, you don't have fangs. So Bigfoot does not have fangs. So walks upright, doesn't grip with its toes, has hands, and no canine teeth. That makes it a hominid like us.
Okay, so let's go back to the chat. Hi, Sharon. Let's look at Greg. He asked Dr. Jeff that exact question of pronation or supination. Very nice word usage there, Mr.
Yeah.
Vocabulary Man.
Yes.
And he showed him a cast with the mid-tarsal break of a pronated or flat foot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if what we call flat feet maybe is just a fallen arch. Maybe there's something different, because I have very flat feet.
Mm-hmm.
Very flat feet, but I still have the shape of an arch, even though my arch, I know some people's arches, they come up like whoop, and mine is like.
Oh, and yeah, and another thing I forgot to talk about in the step patterns is this right here. This is from the Pacific Northwest in the Blue Mountains from 1984 by a guy named Paul Freeman. But him with someone and a couple other guys had found, what's her name?
Dar Addington.
Dar Addington had found this particular individual many times. So there's a lot of different casts from this.
Her name is No,
this is Wrinklefoot. They called her Wrinklefoot. But anyway, if you notice the toes on this splay, and ours don't.
Ours would if we weren't shoving them into stupid shoes all the time.
If we weren't shoving them in shoes, this
individual could play piano with those beautiful toes. Look at that.
Yeah. So that was another thing about the footprints that I wanted to talk about. I hope I didn't just jump ahead. But anyway.
I have no idea what you did. Let's see. I think you did.
Oh, I did. So where's this one come in?
Right next. No, right next.
Okay. All right.
So let's show them another.
Okay.
So let's talk about it while we show you another commercial. Hey, I'm going by the script, baby girl. You got to give them a chance to respond, right?
Yep.
Go to the chat. So the question is.
Oh, no tails. Thanks. Oh, wrong button. Thanks, Lee. Lee's in the chat. Okay.
Yes, and she's going to be on a podcast tomorrow, Red Road Paranormal. So look for that tomorrow. Anyway, in the chat, answer this question: is Bigfoot an ancient human or?
Okay. Anyway.
Or a giant ape? You just spilled his water all over the floor. Ancient human or giant ape? And we've got another ad for you.
Do we?
Yes, we do. Imagine having high-speed internet no matter where you are. With Starlink, that dream is now reality. No more buffering, lag, or limited access. Starlink connects you to ultra-fast, reliable internet anywhere on Earth. From seamless streaming to intense gaming and productivity, Starlink empowers you to do it all. And here's the best part. Sign up using our exclusive link and get your first month free. Don't miss out on the future of internet. Click the link in our description to get started today. Starlink, revolutionizing internet, one connection at a time. Join now.
All right. So link in the description below if you want to get yourself some Starlink.
And with
support the channel.
With their new setup, you're almost guaranteed that their little dishes won't blow over in tornado-like storms.
Yeah.
Ask us how we know.
Ask us how we know. Yep. So,
all right, go away from the chart. Okay.
So the next thing we want to talk about that a lot of people don't realize back in the day is I'll guarantee you there are fake footprints out there that people find. And it's one of the things that makes this whole thing a pain in the butt to do.
It's very valuable though.
Yeah. And also it does have its value so if you know what to look for in Bigfoot prints, splayed toes, the way they walk, the depths in different places, and this what is. And one other thing, you can tell which are real footprints and which are not. And one of the things that shows us another thing what's real footprints is dun, dun, dun.
It's your favorite phrase.
What?
Dermal ridges.
Dermal ridges. There's a few sets of these footprints out here that have dermal ridges. All right.
Patty's was not one of them.
Actually, Patty's was one of them.
Oh.
Did have it. This one right here is from Elk Ridge in the Blue Mountains. And I'm going to see if we can do this.
I doubt it, but
hold on.
Oh, you can really see them there.
You see them in there? In this, move your hand so I can see. In this toe right here,
they're really clear.
You see the dermal ridges?
Little swirly patterns.
Swirly patterns right there. Fingerprints, just like we have.
Question. So, I have a question.
And this is another Paul Freeman cast.
I have a question. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question.
What?
Do the Cottage Grove prints have dermal ridges?
No.
Well, damn it.
No. So,
why not?
So these prints actually have been, these dermal ridges have been analyzed, and there's
Doug, stay on track. I know what you just saw. Just stay on track and get to that later.
Okay. They are absolutely not human. Humans have a certain swirl patterns. In fact, believe it or not, if I looked at your swirl, like the swirl pattern in my fingers, well, you can't see them real well, but that's one of the things we did in anthropology class is I could look at the swirl patterns in your fingers. You don't have to do that. It's not working.
No.
Anyway, and I can, believe it or not, we can almost tell you what race you are by the swirl patterns in your fingers. A lot of people don't know that. So if you take the swirl patterns, like in this Freeman cast, and which have been studied, they don't match any human pattern at all. And also, they don't match chimps, orangutans, or gorillas. So they are completely and totally different. In fact, that Sasquatch print, you can see in the thing here, the copy I have doesn't have it on there, but there are swirl patterns in the entire foot in these, and they do not match.
All right.
So
now, would you like to address the white elephant in the room?
Yes.
Okay, so Charles M.
Charles
M.
Buddy.
Hold on. We are forever Paul Freeman advocates. You need to know that about us.
Yeah.
And we have the whole story. Go.
Yes. Oh, he said, but is Freeman considered legit?
Yes.
Absolutely. I am extremely good friends with two people on this planet. One, Michael Freeman, his son, and two, Dar Annington, his partner who took notes
and
field researched with him personally. I have spent a lot of time with both these people. And
let's talk about that. Let's talk
about that another time.
No, let's talk about it now.
Okay.
Good Morning America, or whatever the heck show that was.
Yeah.
Yes, he did say, yes, I've made fake casts, and that's what went viral.
And that's what went viral. But what he did is he did an interview. They asked him, have you ever made fake footprints? And he said, yes, I have.
And then he continued.
Then he continued. But when they played it on the news, that's where it ended, when he said, yes, I have.
What did he say after he said,
But
yes,
after
I
he
have?
said that, if you watch the whole thing, and I have got the original film somewhere, he said, yes, I have. I have made prints with casts in the backyard to practice casting. So
you will hear varying accounts. It's
yeah.
like watching the political theater of today's world.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So anyway, so there is several casts on this planet that have dermal ridges in them that aren't people's fingerprints, because I can tell you for a fact that there is a major difference between human prints, chimpanzee prints, gorilla prints, orangutan prints. The patterns are all different on how they're laid out. And like I said, we can even tell, like, that shocked me when I was in class sitting there and they were showing the different prints up on the screen. And I'm like, wow. And they said, look at your prints in your hand and tell me what matches up on the screen. And I said, okay, well, I'm matched kind of that one over there. And they said, well, here's your background. I can tell you. And then they flipped up, like, this is Asians. This is, you know, Nordic people, you know, blah, blah, blah.
What he's talking about.
So the dermal ridges are very intricate, and you have to study them closely. And I am not very good. I'm not good at that at all. But what it does is it's almost as close. It's almost like DNA. Dermal ridges are. So
okay, can we be done with dermal
yeah.
ridges?
Yeah,
Oh
okay.
my God. He gets himself into this hole and then he can't get out. All right, so no reason to be embarrassed. I'm gonna get on a soapbox real quick, because it doesn't matter whether it's Bigfoot or anything else. We as a people are brainwashed to believe what we see in major media.
Yeah.
And it's been a tool of the powers that be for a very long time. Control the narrative and you control the people. All right. And that's why your best bet is to get to know people individually and to never, ever, ever believe anything you see on a major network. Come to indie sources.
Yeah.
Come to indie sources.
Oh, and check it out yourself. But not everybody can, like, call up Michael and say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
or
they probably could, but
yeah, you know,
but it's really important that you do deep research.
Yeah.
And probably even ChatGPT can't take you there.
Right.
So
that will take me down a rabbit hole I don't want to go.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, because
government cover-ups.
We could go there. Okay, so
next thing on the list.
We are done. Oh, by the way, have you found a funky track before? Tell us about it in the chat.
Yeah.
You don't want to show another.
No.
We have one more to show, but we can show that later. We can go part 2 next week.
Okay. Anyway.
Because we've got a whole heck of a lot.
We're good. We're good. We keep going.
All right. So let's talk about.
Okay.
Let's talk about territory, not made great.
Okay, this is a show we did just a few weeks ago. If you remember this chart, if you don't remember this chart, go back and we talk about Bigfoot in the winter I think is the name of the video. And we talk about how Bigfoot don't migrate, they rotate, like rotating crops. And we have discovered this. I thought
you were going to say rotating crops.
Crops. And we get this from Bigfoot sighting reports. And in my years of getting reports in the Blue Mountains, because that's where I'm from, one of the things we're able to do over the last 10 years or 8 years, 15 years or something like that, is to be able to start connecting all these locations. So if you want to go out and look for
Actually,
Bigfoot,
it's been 13 years.
okay.
I
If you
did
want,
the math.
if you want to go out looking for Bigfoot, use the Bigfoot Mapping Project or the BFRO's website, and the area you want to go in, look at how many Bigfoot reports are in that area. But most importantly, look at the dates, and particularly the months. So if they're here in 2017, they're here in 2019, they're here in 2022, they're so Bigfoot doesn't migrate up and down the mountains like deer do. They basically are rotating crops. They live in this area for a year, they live in this area for a year, they live in this area for a year, and then they'll come back to this area for a year.
And if there's a weird weather thing, they might go somewhere else.
But they tend to basically rotate crops
Every 3 or 4 years. You'll see them.
So there was one of the things I discovered. That was it. Okay, next thing in my 25 years of research we've really looked into, and I have personally held in my hand 2 different legit hair samples in my own hands, and a whole bunch that weren't. So that's how that goes. Okay, Lee said, before we move on,
Bigfoot Mapping Project. We should have him on our show.
Yeah, we should. We know Scott, the guy who did it.
Yeah, so. He took the BFR reports and plotted them.
Yeah, on the Bigfoot Mapping Project. Yes, he did. But since the Bigfoot, here's a lot of people don't know, since the Bigfoot Mapping Project, it has been in existence, which has been about 3 or 4 years. I can't remember. It's been a while. When he first started it, he was able to open it up for people to plot their own sightings on the map, submit them. So he has a whole bunch of ones that BFRO doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, Renee is wondering if they can predict the winters like a living farmer's almanac.
I bet they can.
I bet they can. I bet they're that dialed into nature. Absolutely.
So back to the
hair samples.
And this is a pretty common photo. This is one I found because I do have, but I couldn't find them. Anyway, so
he's got a little baby microscope here. Actually.
Yeah. So this here is Ursus, which is a bear. This is Pan,
which is a chimpanzee.
And this is a human
who hasn't destroyed their hair by coloring and perming.
Yep. This is a human. All right. Oh man, that's doing it weird again. This is a human.
And that is an unidentified hairy sample.
All right. And this is the unidentified hairy sample. Oh my gosh, my laser pointer quit working. There we go.
Got a crap for new mouse.
There we go. I got a great mouse. Okay, anyway. So this here doesn't have a medulla, that's what's black line in the center of this is. So 1, the hair is soft, and 2, it's
could be semi-translucent,
not completely translucent. So that's one of the things we found out about the hair. I did a Bigfoot Mythbuster video about it in the camouflage, which is really kind of cool. So you might want to go back and check that out. So moving right along to the next thing we discovered is, can you say that word?
Tapetum lucidum.
Yeah, I never say it right.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah, that's it. I never say it like that. I always said it wrong. The Tapetum lucidum.
That's because you didn't study Spanish in school. You didn't study Latin-based languages, and you learned to read by sight and not by phonics.
Yep.
So Johnny Rocket wants to know if they cycle back to the first place. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, they do. They cycle back.
They cycle around.
So yeah. So what I wanted to say is that they it's like when I said they're like rotating crops. They're like hunting this hunting ground for a year. They'll hunt in this hunting ground for a year. They'll hunt in this hunting ground, and then they'll move back.
And that's very ecologically sound because you're never depleting a population.
Exactly.
You give it time to rebuild. I mean, their natural intelligence, my theory is their natural intelligence is phenomenal. They are so connected to the planet. So,
okay. So moving right along, a lot of Bigfoot reports have stated that Bigfoot had glowing eyes when they shine their lights.
We've got comments on the hair.
Yep. What's that?
Let's go back to the hair. Lee says, I believe the sebum of the Bigfoot affects and helps the unidentified medulla Bigfoot hair in their ability to camouflage.
Yep. Absolutely agree with you there.
All right. Moving on to the Tapetum lucidum.
Or Tapetum.
You're like a hillbilly.
I am a hillbilly.
Lucidum.
For crying out loud.
It's called the glowy cat eyes.
The glowy cat eyes. So they said Bigfoot has glowy eyes, and what that is something that people or animals who are not nocturnal like us does not have this extra layer, which is right here in the back of your eye, back of their eyes anyway, not ours. But a lot of animals have this. What it does is it doubles or triples the amount of light that is captured by the lens in the back of your eye. This is what it looks like in a microscope. That's what it looks like when you see it in a cat. So that right there is actually what you're looking at right here.
And their question.
What?
So, you know that 1970s, 1980s, when we were all snapping pictures with our little Kodak 110s and all of our pictures had red eye.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because we don't have a Tapetum lucidum?
No, it's just the type of film.
So why do sometimes with...
You notice you don't have red eyes in today's pictures on digital cameras, right?
Right. I know, but,
okay.
But digital cameras don't have flash either.
Yeah. All right. So the red eye that you see in pictures, and then Janice asked the same question right there. What about the red eyes?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a reflection in the eyes, but it's not as bold.
Well, I was going to ask. Yeah. So, okay.
So here's the thing. When Bigfoot, when a lot of the reports we get from Bigfoot glowing eyes,
red eyes,
they're yellow actually.
Oh. Well, I've seen a lot of yellow eyes at night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, remember that?
I mean, so our eyes do reflect. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to say they don't.
I remember,
but they do. They don't reflect as much.
I was going to say, remember the glowing eyes we saw at night that turned out to be 2 beer cans?
Yes.
What is that?
We snuck up on 2 glowing eyes that were 2 beer cans.
Yeah, that was funny.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anyway, greetings to Jay Strange. Yes, from our favorite park in Nevada. It's where we lived for 3 days waiting out a storm.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. While we're at it, hit the like and subscribe and share buttons. And if you've already subscribed, please don't hit it again. Make sure you are subscribed.
So anyway, what I'm going to talk about, it just allows them to see better at night. And it also allows them to see in the infrared spectrum, which we cannot. The difference in that is they can literally see trail cameras. And coming up this Friday, 2 days from today, in my Bigfoot Mythbuster series, we're going to explore this. So I'm not going to go into it too much tonight. So 2 days, you'll get to see that. So next thing on the list is Hannah gets to talk about
I wish
vocal
you
cords.
hadn't done this. We're going to keep this really, really short.
Yep.
Okay. Because the physics of music, I may be a master of music, but physics is just not my thing. However, with the way that humans evolved their ability to speak, we have lost a lot of the sound production that we used to be able. If you go back far enough to April 2021 in our channel, go to lives, look up a video with Dr. Chris Hansen from, at the time, Anderson University, and he goes into this in depth. He used to go in depth with us in our grad school classes, and it's about the time I tuned out. But anyway, our vocal cords, generally, the average human can produce 3 octaves of sound: low, middle, and high. And that's what we've got. And the Bigfoot vocalizations, particularly the Ohio howl and the different Sierra sounds, cover a range of 5 octaves. So they can go even lower and even higher than humans can. And that is what you get from me. And yeah.
So what we're seeing here is humans have these 2 vocal folds.
Yes.
Well, Bigfoot has one more up here.
That's a theory.
That's the theory, that they have one more vocal fold than we do. There are animals who have that. In fact, back in human history, before we stopped living in the wild, we also had a 3rd vocal fold that has went the way as of our appendix over the years. So
yeah. And that actually had a lot to do with our development of language, of speech,
right,
vowels and consonants combined into symbolic, so we evolved different kind of communication.
Yep.
Doesn't mean they don't vocalize. Oh, they vocalize.
So another thing we found out from Bigfoot vocalizations and recordings, that they're in 5 octaves, not 3.
Yes. They go lower.
They go higher. Yeah, than we do. So that means that we can tell the difference if it's somebody in the woods whooping or it's a Bigfoot.
That's how they tell the difference. Absolutely.
That's how they tell the difference, and that's how we can tell the difference, by throwing in a spectrograph, and it shows us exactly how many octaves this is. I have a recording that I recorded years ago that we have thrown in a spectrograph with Mr. David Ellis from the Olympic Project, who's really good at this, and he said, yep, it's in all the octaves.
Yes. And Doc Ock said, do you guys think they have different breathing? I think they breathe exactly the same, but they have a huge lung capacity, just like they have the same kind of digestive tract that we do. It's just bigger, so that they have more time in the digestive tract to break down things that we can't break down in ours.
So if you look at the anatomy of a Bigfoot, their torso is way longer than ours, compared to ours. So they have more intestines, so they can eat rougher food. That they can get more nutrients out of their food. We could do the same thing if we ate our food twice, but I don't want to do that.
Or if we had, twice as long intestines.
Or twice as long intestines. So that's what they can get more food out of that way. They have bigger lung capacity because they are larger animals. They have a lot more oxygen to get to a lot more muscles than we do. And they are completely way stronger than us. So I imagine their vascular system is larger than ours. So they can move more oxygen. So that makes them be able to, they said people have seen Bigfoot, sprint up a hill, straight up, and move at incredible speeds. Well, that's because they have a better reflex tendons than we do. They have a larger lung capacity and a larger vascular system.
Yeah. And that's why they can eat things like lichen and weird stuff that, and they can eat more than we can. Although, did you know, my darling, that tonight you ate like a Bigfoot? He ate kale and beet greens tonight.
I know, she's trying to kill me. Okay. Anyway.
All right.
So that's our presentation of what we've learned so far. That I think makes a difference in being able to argue with people about Bigfoot.
We should show them the final ad.
what is the final ad? You just made
Oh
that up.
my gosh, that one.
Introducing Squatch Off, the all-natural bug spray made for Bigfoot hunters and outdoor adventurers, formulated to disrupt insect hormones, making you invisible to pests. No harsh chemicals, just nature working for you. Repel the bugs, not the Bigfoot. Stay bite-free, naturally. Join our Indiegogo campaign today.
And to make it even easier, you can go straight to squatchamerica.com, and that's the first thing you will see, and you will be able to click through to the campaign there, so you don't have to figure out what that weird address was.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So that's our own proprietary.
Yes, we're the only ones with that formula in the whole world.
Yes.
Trust us on this. We researched it before we put it out there. All right. So now.
So we got one last thing, which I forgot to pre-talk about before we came on. I was going to say we have exciting new news for the Squatch Americans.
Sort of. We're taking baby steps.
Yeah. So Renee says, I'm excited for this. Renee probably saw the Facebook post that Hannah put up and said we did a thing. And everybody's like, we might have done a thing.
We did not buy a campground.
No, we did not buy a campground. We hunt Bigfoot for a living. We don't have money. Money doesn't work like it doesn't work like that.
If we sell enough Squatch Off, who knows?
Yeah, we might. So what we wanted to do is, this is a photo of some ducks on a place called Lake Tawakoni in what are we, northeast Texas, I guess?
No, we're kind of just
north central Texas?
No, we're more
Northeast.
We're more East Texas.
Yeah, northeast Texas. And then this is a blue heron on Lake Tawakoni.
Isn't he handsome?
And outside our camper right now, there's this guy. His name is Chunk because he's fat and he will knife you for your fries.
Here he's flexing because he's too sexy for his shirt.
Yeah. So, and this is the view that we have from our campsite. You want to finish?
Well, as of April 1st, we have a semi new home. When we are not traveling, this will be our home.
This is our home.
Starting April 1st for at least the next year.
So what we did is we literally rented a campsite for a year. So we have a home base to go to. And we figured that where we're at in Texas is a pretty central location for us to go either anywhere to go Bigfooting. We can go to the east, we can go to the west.
We can go to the north.
Yeah, and go to north from there. So we have a seasonal campsite that we now own, that nobody else can take. Yeah, for a year, that nobody else can move into.
We can show up in the middle of the night
and just park our camper in our spot.
We don't have to make a reservation. And it is a beautiful. We have come back to this place about. I think this is our 4th time back, and our 5th time back will be when we come back on April 1st to kind of start setting it up.
Yeah. And what you see up here is just one of the fingers of the lake. This lake goes out here and it's huge. It's like this lake supplies all the water for Dallas, Texas. So
there's a lot of water out there. There's a lot of the water comes up out of the ground here. We just absolutely love this place, and it is our first step towards actually having a home in this area. Yeah.
So we've got the campsite for a year so we can have time to look for property here. Because we like the area, we like the people. Super small town. I love super small towns. I grew up in a super small town, and I don't like people. I guess I don't like cities. I don't like traffic. I don't like all that stuff. So super small town. It has a wonderful hardware store. That's all I need.
I found a new word today. It's called canine avert.
What's that?
A canine avert is someone who would prefer to be surrounded by dogs and people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
anyway, this is our campsite. That's ours. We kind of technically own it. We don't own it, but
we leased it.
We leased it for a year.
So nobody else can have it.
Mm-hmm.
And oddly enough, it is the seasonal campsite that when we first came here 4 years ago, we said, boy, if we did a full-time thing here, that's the one we would want. And as it so happens, it was available.
Mm-hmm. So looks nice and level. Yeah, Lee, it is nice and level because it's right there on the beach of the lake. There's like, they say every 4 years, the lake actually comes up to about there. So we have to watch out for that. And then of course we just had hurricane force winds
and rain
2 nights ago. There were a couple tornadoes touched down, and so we're in that area. When hurricanes come off the Gulf, this is kind of one of the paths they take. So we're kind of in that area. But other than big winds, there's no snow.
No, liar, pants on fire.
What?
There's been snow.
Okay. This year it snowed a little tiny skiff here in Texas, which is very unusual. We'll put it that way.
It was cold though. Oh, it was cold.
Yeah, in fact, in here in Texas, it got down to like freezing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I was
what?
Not a happy camper. So yes, Mike, can you say catfish?
Yes, Mike Prime. Yes, sir. We can say catfish. In fact, Lake Tawakoni is the capital catfish lake in Texas. That's
in
where.
In fact, one of the guys here caught a catfish the other day that put up quite a fight and drew blood.
Yeah.
And I said, I think that is a catfish that was. I think that catfish was around with the prehistoric sturgeon.
I know. Yeah, he was holding this catfish up.
He was as big as he was.
Yeah, he was about. I think he's about 6 foot tall, and he had it up to his chin, and his tail was right around his ankles. So it was.
Yeah, it was one heck of a big fish. So I'm waiting for you to catch us some catfish for dinner.
I know. We need to do that.
So okay. Renee said to tie down.
Tie down.
We
Yeah.
probably should. Not a bad idea. So anything else?
I think that's it for the good of the order.
For the good of the order.
So we are now Texans.
And we're working on it.
Yeah, we'll be getting our driver's license and stuff here shortly.
When we started our journey, we thought we were going to be diehard South Dakotans, but now that Christy Nome is doing federal things, it's like, nah, we could be Texans.
We can be Texans.
We were only South Dakotans because we're such Christy fans.
Yep.
But the Texas has got some really similarly good packages for RVN people like ourselves. So
yeah.
And no snow.
And no snow.
So, well, with that, do we have any other comments or questions? Snide remarks. There are a couple snide remarks in there. I appreciate a good snide remark.
Yeah. And another thing too, we're probably going to primarily stay here in the winter time, but during the summertime, we'll be spending most of our time usually up north in the Pacific Northwest
or New England.
We're going to kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, hurricane coming. Good thing your
house is on wheels. That's true. We can bug out if we had to.
If we had to. Mm-hmm. Are there any more hurricanes headed, or have they passed?
No, it's not hurricane season. It's over.
So all right. Well,
next fall is the hurricane season.
So what's coming next week? Do you have any idea?
What we're talking about?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I think we've got part 2 of stuff. Oh, we got part 2. Part 2. Come back next week for even more.
All right. So thanks for watching, folks.
So as always, please remember that our job is to investigate the unexplained.
Not to explain the uninvestigated.
So until next week, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share this with your friends, and you keep watching.
And we'll keep squatching.
Now, go out and find Bigfoot.
That damn Sasquatch.
They're squatching, they're searching, they're cracking some jokes. It's Scott